on the money.
Okay, let's start over. We have the two
then,
systems, catecholamine and vagal.
So you have the sinus node, which is the main switch of the heart, has two electric stimulant or two electric inputs. One speed of the heart is called sympathetic system or catecholamine or hyperactive fast heart rate. The other one is the vagal, which slow down the heart rate. All right. Now, both of them, they try to keep the heart rate on the average heart rate, not too fast, not too slow. So most people, they are heart rate between 60 to 100, 60 to 100. These two numbers, we just came up with these numbers, 60 and 100. Look at, many people said, you know, the lowest number we can say is normal 60. This number came up with physician, and the highest one is 100. What about if Sunshine, her heart rate 105? Maybe this is the upper normal for her. What about if she was 55? So if you live on the border of this number, it's okay. But if you are 30 or 25, that's too low. If you're 160, 180, 200, that's too high. So if it's close to that numbers, it's still okay.
So what if I'm 130?
High. It's higher than. Now, these two nerves influence with psychological, emotional, and the anxiety and the mental condition.
I'm screwed then.
But we're gonna work on that. We're gonna work big time. When the heart goes too fast, what happened to the heart? The heart doesn't have enough time to pump blood, right? Because if your heart's slow, what happened? It fill in and pump, fill in, pump. But if your heart too fast, doesn't have time to fill in the blood and pump. So if your heart goes too fast, you will feel dizzy, lightheaded, because they don't have enough blood to the brain. And sometimes they black out, like the one with the P.O.T.S people black out.
Because I did black out at Grant Hospital before,
right.
But they said I was really dehydrated.
That's the issue here. So what you need to do, well, the only thing we can make the heart not get anxious or fast-hearted too fast is give more fluid, extra fluid for you compared to average people, because your body becomes so sensitive to dehydration. So take home message: if it's too humid outside, too hot, you don't go out, because it's gonna be sweaty, muggy, heavy to breathe. It is gonna activate that fast heart rate. It's gonna make you more stressed. Definitely emotional support, anxiety, depression has to be treated, definitely. A lot of people who has P.O.T.S and has vasovagal syncope, they have what we call psychiatric background. They have trauma in the history. They have post-traumatic syndrome.
I just learned that I had PTSD.
Yeah.
I didn't know. I thought PTSD was for soldiers, people that have been in war, but I was in a relationship where I was physically abused. And she said, oh, you know, I didn't know this. And also, apparently, when I was born, I had something called Erb's palsy.
Mm-hmm.
They were pulling me out the wrong way.
Mm-hmm.
So even my birth was traumatic, because when I was born, when I came out, I was paralyzed in my arm. And my mom, she got my arm to work, and she thought everything was fine, just let me go in life. But then I had all of these problems with dizziness and balance and anxiety symptoms. And this Dr. O.S over at Neurootology, he said all of that is related to what happened to you at birth.
Absolutely. And you don't have to have physical PTSD, you could get emotional PTSD.
I believe.
Yeah. So that is where it comes to core. And I noticed on their note about trying to abilify different medicine, you know, for your emotional stuff. I think counseling would be important. Have you been on counseling?
I do see a counselor. I haven't been to see her in a long time. I need to get back to it. But like my doctor used to give me a medication called Valium.
Mm-hmm.
And it made me feel like somebody threw a blanket on me.
Sure.
And then at the emergency room, another doctor said, well, they have a 2 milligram Valium. And he's like, well, maybe you should try to get a 2 milligram Valium. But is that dangerous for me? Because like I've had some doctors say, well, that's dangerous. But then I've had some doctors say, well, no, a person who is nervous all the time, who can't go to the grocery store like you need something to help you be able to function.
The concern recently over the last 2-3 years, and especially with opioid overdose.
Yeah, and I'm
stuff,
scared to take anything.
people are very anxious, and Valium is one of the medicine we have to be careful with that.
Right.
It could make you addicted. We're concerned about medicine be addicted, and that is affecting people's life. They get used to the medicine, and then from that point, if the medicine cannot be given to you, you can start getting other medicine.
Well, see, and that's the thing
And
with
that's a
me.
problem.
When they would give me the Valium, they would go to waste because I was so scared to take them that I would take one maybe one day, and then like it would be another week, then I would try one or whatever. So I don't think I'm an addictive personality.
Sure.
But I have to do something because I'm not really living. I don't know what to do.
I think what happened, the good news, you don't have blackout. So I will tell you from my standpoint how we can look at the cardiac vascular system. So the heart function in your situation is normal. Usually is normal.
So my heart is normal. It just goes fast.
Yeah, it goes fast. Now the question here is the fast heart rate.
It makes you feel like you're going to die.
It is a concern. Again, what happened, you have a fast heart rate and a person has emotional issue, PTSD.
It scares you.
It triggered that. Then what happened? Anxiety heighten up, out of your control,
Right.
Then guess what? That trigger another POTS. The POTS trigger another anxiety and
that's the sympathetic nervous system.
The sympathetic system.
Okay.
So
acupuncture?
I think there's two things we can do with that. Have you seen neurologist?
It's been a while since I saw a neurologist. I saw Dr. O's, who is a neuro-otologist. Yeah. And see, here's the thing, Dr. Humphrey. Am I saying your name right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
They wanted me to do therapy. Well, when I go to the therapy, I get really dizzy. And when I have a lot of motion, like I feel weak after. So like I can be zonked out, and I really feel bad because to a lot of people, I know I look lazy. And I promise to God I'm not lazy.
You're not.
I want to do things. Yeah, and then my husband, I know he looks at me like, what is wrong with her? Because like if I take my magnesium and I get a burst of energy at night, I will clean. It'll be 4 a.m. and I'll be up cleaning, trying to do everything that I can do. But it's because I have that moment where I feel strong.
Yep.
And so I do everything I can, but then the next day I'm just like laid out. And like I was telling that lady, I would never try to kill myself. I know that. But I see how people just get frustrated with having no life.
No question.
And you're just like, God, why am I even here?
Yeah, people, with the psychiatric disease in the United States is really high, underdiagnosed, and untreated well. We have difficulty. We need more psychiatrists and more counseling because it's so hard. We live a life very tough. Let's face it, a very tough life, right?
Yes.
Especially when we have PTSD, it's very challenging.
And then for me, just watching the news.
Yes. With
these children, everything ramps me up.
Yeah, separation from the kid, from the family.
And I don't have children. I've never birthed a child. So I'm looking at these kids like, how do their mommies feel? And everything just has me so.
Unfortunately, the world is full of evil nowadays everywhere. Unfortunately, and that will add to the anxiety, stress. But I would say I would start with Dr. Steiner. Nice guy. He is a P.O.T.S physician, neurologist.
Is he here?
He's at Ohio State.
Okay.
So we'll start with this. I want to get a counselor really on that. Then a couple things from my standpoint. I want to hydrate yourself adequately. Caffeine is gonna be gone away, gone.
I don't drink. I drink decaf coffee. I avoid chocolate.
Just 1 cup a day, not more than that.
A decaf?
Yeah. Because you know what the decaf? How much is it? Still have caffeine in it.
Really?
Yes.
That's right, because it's not caffeine free.
It's not caffeine free.
Shut up.
Yes.
Oh,
Sunshine, you're smart. Hey. Come on. Let me organize your life.
Yes, sir.
I want to sleep 8 hours at night. You should sleep and rest 8 hours at night.
I can't sleep.
Well, that's okay. We're going to go with the counselors. We're going to go with the psychiatrists. We're going with Dr. Steiner. We're going to get you to sleep. I believe resting your body 8 hours, hydrating your body, hydrating your body with fluid, avoiding stimulants like caffeine and alcohol, and even decaf coffee.
Okay.
You can drink 1 decaf coffee a day.
Okay.
No soft drink whatsoever, under no circumstances, even caffeine free, 0 calorie. You're not gonna touch the soft drink. They're gone.
What about like the LaCroix water, the sparkling water? It doesn't have
That's
sugar, no
that's okay.
caffeine, no nothing.
Yep.
Okay.
I like Gatorade because it's more natural stuff.
Now see, I had a
Yeah.
doctor at OSU's ER tell me don't touch Gatorade.
If your blood pressure is high, you have
Because
high
we
blood pressure.
buy it. Well, my blood pressure kind of teeters. It's weird because sometimes I can go in and they can say, "Oh, we need to put you on medicine," but usually I'm like 122 over
I
80.
agree. So at that time,
So I don't know.
so if your blood pressure has been up and down, I would stay away from Gatorade because it has salt in it. You know.
Okay.
Let's get the other one.
But see, Dr. Riles told me I should be eating a teaspoon of salt because of my POTS.
True. So here, what we can do, we can send it to Dr. Steiner. He's an expert on POTS. Let's see what he does. You know, he's autonomic nerve. He's a neurologist who deals with this catecholamine vagal nerve innervation.
Okay.
Let's work with this. Get the counseling, but I want to try to sleep. That's the biggest one for you. Now, how to sleep well, besides emotional stability? Try not to eat late. People who eat late, they cannot sleep.
Okay.
People who has anxiety and not treated and not really under control, it's going to be challenging to sleep. People get like really lack of sleep. They can't sleep well. And I want to love yourself. I want to care about yourself and be happy where you are and love yourself. You understand how to love yourself? You gotta love yourself. You gotta love sunshine. You're beautiful. You know that? You're worth it. You understand? You have to love yourself. You know, not to be like selfish. Not you're worth it. You need to work for that. You know. And definitely, if you start having problems with the suicidal ideation, you have to tell us. You know, we need to know.
Oh
that.
no, yeah,
I know you're not gonna do it. Yeah, you have a good family, you got a husband. You're gonna work hard on that. But I would say it's not a one-stop shop. You know, we have to work with Dr. Stein on the POTS. He's a young guy, came us and helped us a lot. We used to have Victoria Lawson. She left as an autonomic nervous system specialist. But he's good. He's energetic. Good guy. Help us a lot with this. The counselor is important. I think your psychological situation has to be controlled.
What can I do about like the dizziness, and what exercise is safe for me?
Well, for you in the beginning, since you didn't have a blackout for now, I would suggest, but you have to drink fluid first. You have to hydrate yourself first. You can walk on treadmill, no elevation,
Okay.
just flat, up to 3 miles per hour, up to 3 miles, not that fast.
What about an exercise bike? Is there?
You're okay. You know, again, you're gonna warm up, and you're gonna be steady for about 20 minutes, then cool down in the end.
Is there anything for the dizziness?
Well, let's do this lifestyle changes and hydrate yourself. See if this will make a difference.
Okay.
Because I'd like to use more of this stuff because you've been trying. I read his note. He tried on multiple medicine, diltiazem, Toprol XL. There's a medicine now we are using in the United States. It's called Corlinor. I didn't see that he tried on that, but it's not approved for POTS yet.
Okay.
It's approved in heart failure patients, but not yet.
And see, that's what metoprolol is for.
No,
Metoprolol, they said it helps people with heart failure
correct.
and helps prevent heart damage.
Yeah.
Why am I taking it?
Well, the problem is that lower blood pressure. The Corlinor does not affect blood pressure, just control the heart rate.
Okay.
But not yet approved in the United States.
So should I stay on the metoprolol
Let's
for
stay on
now?
that. Hydrate yourself more. So
What about propranolol?
same. You can try that. Actually, there are studies on propranolol better than metoprolol. You know, the study was done on Inderol, which is propranolol. It's an old beta blocker, very old. You know.
So propranolol is just taken as needed, though, right? Or how is it taken?
You take it. No, you take it regularly. Same like metoprolol.
Oh, see, when I had propranolol,
Mhm.
the doctor didn't tell me to take it that way. They told me that when my heart started racing, take a propranolol. And that was part of the problem because when I would show up to the emergency room, by the time I got there, the propranolol had kicked in and lowered my heart rate. And then they're looking at me like, why are you here, lady? Right.
Why are your risk going up? No, you're not.
Right, exactly. And I'm like, I'm just doing what everybody.
Let me switch it to propranolol. I like propranolol was studied. They have a study on propranolol and did well. Metoprolol, usually above age 45 work, above age 40, and you are 47,
Does
right?
propranolol help with the blood pressure though?
Both.
Okay.
Both, yeah.
Cause see, that's what they were saying. Oh, well, you need the metoprolol because sometimes your blood pressure goes up.
And I said the metoprolol.
Can I start with a low dose of propranolol?
You can. Let's see how much you take metoprolol. How much you take metoprolol?
I only take 12.5 milligrams a day of metoprolol.
Yeah, we can start.
But
20.
it causes me depression. It seems like.
It does. Beta blocker, all of them does that. You know.
So what is the lowest dose of propranolol?
I think 10 milligrams.
Then I would like to start at 10.
Yeah, it goes up to 160, sometimes 240. I mean, it's a really baby dose. Again, the problem with that patient has history of depression. Then given this, unfortunately, there is a side effect.
I know a difference in me, and so as soon as I started up the metoprolol, it was like this, boom. And when I told him, I told Dr. Riles, he said, oh, okay. And he said it does affect the brain. It works in the brain. And I could tell the difference immediately.
Metoprolol, unfortunately, with small dose should not give you side effect that. But having said that, we say it's a dose related. It should be happening in the higher dose in metoprolol. But guess what? Here an example in front of us, right? Small dose happened to you. So I would say there is nothing, a simple explanation to everything. It's individual. How does your body interact with that medicine? You know what I'm saying?
Now, propranolol, is it a once a day?
Once a day.
Okay, and is extended release?
I think it is. Yep.
Okay, can we make sure?
She was metoprolol. But you were taking 12 and a half, right, metoprolol?
Yes, sir. I basically am taking a 25 milligram metoprolol and breaking it in half is what they have
One
me
in
do.
the evening. Okay, milligram. Once a day. Twice a day. All right. Let me look at the dose.
You know what has been like the biggest help until this moment and seeing you and getting all your detailed information. I've been depending on people in P.O.T.S groups on Facebook.
Which is good, actually. I read that. You know, nothing wrong with that. We used to have support group for many people, like in different.
We have a ribbon. I didn't know. There's a turquoise ribbon, and they call themselves Potsies or Spoonies, and there's like a lot of people, and like I was explaining like some of my symptoms, and these people are so kind and so understanding, and it is like, it's really refreshing to have somebody who understands what you're going through, because most people look at me like I'm crazy when I tell them, oh, well, when I walk, sometimes the floor moves. They think I'm high, and I'm like, I don't do drugs of any kind. I'm the cleanest person you know. But then I have someone who says, yeah, that happens all the time, and it's because of this. And, you know, one lady says, well, eat some pickles, get dill pickles. She said sometimes the salt in the pickles will help fight, you know, your dizziness. And then they're like, oh, make sure you drink a lot of water, and if this person needs a gallon of water, you probably need a gallon and a half. You know, we really got to stay. And they've been really helpful, and they told me the difference between androgenic, and then I started looking this stuff up, because honest to God, I love Dr. Riles, great guy, but he came in while I was on fentanyl and said, you have P.O.T.S. I'm going to tell your primary care doctor, you know, that what you were feeling, you weren't making it up, of course, and we actually were able to see it when we, you know, did the study. And then he left and told me that they would set me up a 2-week appointment, and they never did. I had to pursue them for a follow-up, and he still never gave me any information. He didn't want to give me magnesium, which magnesium has been incredible for me.
It did make a big difference for you, of course.
It really does. It's like a super drug or something. Like, it gives me strength.
Yep. Optimize.
And Dr. Oates is the one who gave me that. Because I have these invisible migraines. And
is he still with us, Dr. Oates?
Yeah, I believe he is.
Yeah, you want to see him again? I can send it to him instead of Dr. Steiner. You want to see Steiner or Dr. Oates?
Dr. Oates is fine. He's over in Gehenna.
Potassium.
I'm going to try to restart my therapy, my physical therapy that he wanted me to do.
OS is OS?
OAS.
OAS, okay. Dr. OAS.
He
Neuro, you said he is?
Everybody was trying to warn me about him. Even people at OSU, they were like, he's not very nice. He's, he's very blunt. And he was so nice to me.
Okay.
Oh no. Like, I answered all of his questions straight and to the point. What it is that he has a lot of ground to cover. He likes to get to the business and make sure he can cover everything.
Yeah.
He's kind of like Sheldon from Big Bang Theory. He's a very, very highly intelligent person.
Right.
But by the time I was done, he had suggested a water bottle. He went and got his water bottle out of his office and brought it in to show it to me. And he said, it's blue for Michigan because these people here hate Michigan, so I got this coat. He's kind of a comedian.
He is? Oh, good. Let me see him here. Oh, it's John O's.
John O's, yeah.
John O's.
Like, I had no idea about that Erb's palsy. But when I started explaining things to him,
so, neuro or
he figured it out.
Oh my, both of I never know that he. No,
yeah, he's a neuro optologist, I believe, or neuro-otolaryngologist.
Okay.
But he did this thing to me where he had this ribbon and he was holding it and he was asking me, is it straight? Is it this? Is it that? Well, see, I have a habit of sitting like this with my head to the side. But I do it so much that I don't notice it. And then he asked me, he said, is it straight or is it tilted? I said, it's straight. He said, Ms. Wilkie, is it straight or tilted? I said, it's straight. And he said, Ms. Wilkie, now I want you to pay attention. He said, is your head tilted or straight? And I was just like, oh. He said, you sit that way so much that you don't even notice it.
You don't notice
and he
that.
said it's because you were born with Erb's palsy.
Wow.
And
well, I tell you what, I might need to use him again because I need some people like that.
When I tell you he is incredible, he used to work for NASA, so he does a lot of like science-based stuff. And he recreated right there in his office. He made me have a panic attack and he made me get dizzy.
No kidding.
He manipulated me. He used this vibrating thing. He stuck it on the side of my head right here. He stuck it on the back of my head. He stuck it like right here behind the base of my head. And like and he said, no, calm down. You're okay. You're okay. He said, what I'm doing is I'm recreating your dizziness.
Excellent.
It was like this wand.
Excellent.
And he said, so see, there's like some type of therapy that I have to do with my neck that has to do with the muscles tensing up. That's part of my dizziness.
I think so.
And then like when the dizziness came, I freaked out and he said, and I can also create your panic attack too. And then when he asked me about driving home, I panicked even further because he said, and now you're visualizing what's going to happen when you're going on the drive home. So he's like he's really sharp.
It sounds like I'm reading his note. I mean, the guy is really amazing. But to me, this is what we want to do with P.O.T.S. when we have the P.O.T.S. or sinus tachycardia. And the electrophysiologist, like, they come and say, if you have fast heart rate, I can't go and do an ablation. I can't give you medicine. But I think, as I said, you look at the root of the P.O.T.S. Psychiatric issue, balance issue, ear, then the impact on the heart. And everybody come to the heart. So if you go to a specialized center with P.O.T.S, like Cleveland Clinic, you go to a Mayo Clinic, or you go to even Toledo, these people, they go in and measure actually catecholamine, how much is in it. They measure the level of that. They measure the volume of the blood, how much is it. And that's what we're lacking at the high state. So hopefully when Dr. Steiner came, it's been 2 years now. I'm hoping if he stay around, we might expand it more and more. Maybe Dr. Oz might be also joining them. You have to have a center who have all the specialists, the multidisciplinary, sit down. And
so we shouldn't have to leave Columbus to get this type of care. And that's what I was told. The two places that you mentioned, I was told by the P.O.T.S group to either go to Mayo Clinic or go to Cleveland Clinic.
Yeah, Fred actually, Yeager is the head of that program, and I call him up now. Yeah, you guys, they send this. I said, We need somebody to get the interest in that. But it's not the issue of one physician. It's multidisciplinary. You have multi-specialists.
There's different specialties that all work
Absolutely.
in conjunction.
So no, let's see this one. Yeah, let's see what we have. It comes in long acting. And let's see, the long acting is 60. Let's see how much is it. I'm gonna look at this one. Let's see what the lowest dose for the. So lowest dose. Oh, for long acting 60. Once a day. Let's see short acting. Alright. I know short acting comes in 10 milligram. Where's that? Hold on. Ohio State. Where's Ohio State? Here. Medication. Pharmacy. No, not this one here. The other one.
So with short acting, is that one that I would take as needed?
You take it as needed.